Hello and welcome to this demonstration of Hubro Business. In this demonstration, I will go through the Instructor Interface and the Student Interface and show you what both you and your students will do throughout the simulation. First, let's go through your Instructor Interface. This is where you plan the simulation, add any content into the simulation, set deadlines, and communicate with your students using the chat feature. Your Instructor Interface is a tool as the educator and provides you with all the flexibility you need to use the simulation in a classroom setting or in distance learning. In Overview, you can start and move the simulation forward, and you can choose when to end the simulation, and you can use this button to freeze your students' screens in order to get their attention. You also have the option to play along as a participant, meaning you manage your own company and compete with your students in the simulation. Here, you also have a concise overview of what the students are doing in terms of the tasks, exercises, and their progress throughout the simulation. You can mark players as absent and reward them with monetary grants, and also see their reports. Now, let's go through the schedule. The schedule is your planning tool. It is where you can set the duration of your simulation and add any deadlines into the game. The schedule can be adjusted at any time, including when the simulation is running. Deadlines, if activated, mean that each quarter of the simulation will move forward at a specific time and date. These deadlines also mean that you don't have to manually move the simulation forward. Schedule is also where you can add your additional content, such as exercises, assessments, and changes in the game. To do this, just go to the quarter you wish to add to or edit and press Add Content. I will now go through the content that you can add. If you want to add additional exercises or assessments, select Exercises. Here, you can choose from our selection of pre-made exercises or create your own. You can create multiple choice, calculation, or text questions. These exercises you create can be saved to be used again and will be added directly into the simulation for the students to complete. You can also adjust different functionalities. This includes switching the budgeting mode to manual or automatic, meaning your students either have to fill out the budget themselves or just answer questions based on the budget that is generated by their financial decisions. You can also add events, which alter the market conditions and encourage your students to think about different, realistic changes and subsequently adjust their decisions. For example, changes in taxation for the jetpack industry. You can also add broadcasts for your students. These are announcements written by you that will appear in the game for the students. They can include video, image, and text information. Lastly, you have the option to add notes. These will not show up in the game for your students, but are for you to use as a planning tool to add into the schedule. Now, let's move on to assessments. The Assessment Center is where you can grade, give feedback, and review your students' answers to exercises they have completed within the simulation. There is an option to download their results in an Excel file. You can make these exercises manually graded, which means you as the instructor go through the answers and grade them and give feedback. These grades and feedback can be seen in the student's interface. Or you can have automatic grading, where there is a passing grade set and the simulation will grade their answers automatically. You can, of course, still have an overview of their answers here in Assessments. Lastly, let's take a look at Insights. Insights is not only for you to see how your students are doing in the game, but it can also be used as a discussion tool. In Insights, you can see the different trends and data in the form of graphs. You can see how each of the groups are doing in the simulation in terms of these different performance indicators. You can see them here. You can also take a look at financial and sales insights. Insights is a really valuable tool for you to go through the simulation with your students and allow them to reflect on the decisions they've made and make better ones in the future. Now, let's go through the student interface. Down the left-hand side are the tasks and exercises they must complete in each of the quarters of the simulation. Here at the top, they have their current cash and the current year and quarter that they are playing in. I'll show you a few tasks to demonstrate some of what the students will be doing and how it relates to their business course. First, let's go through research and development. This is where students make choices between developing additional products or improving their existing products. They have an overview of the cost and how long it will take to complete each project. Next, let's go through contracts. In this simulation, your students will produce products that have to be sold through contracts to distributors in each quarter. Only one company can get a given contract. Each contract has its own payment terms, price, and units demanded. In order to win these contracts, companies must set a marketing budget and a priority list, with the company having the highest marketing spend winning their preferred contract on the list. Spending too much will make the companies unprofitable. Now, let's take a look at financing. Financing gives the students the option of taking a loan. They get all the information they need to make an informed decision on whether they need a loan. They can see payback period and terms and the interest rate. They have had to look at their R&D so they can decide if a loan is needed to fund any projects undertaken there. There is also investment decisions to make in other tasks, such as production, which will influence their decision here. We can take a look at production now. Here, the students can choose to build factories and set the activity level for these factories. They can also see how many products they are producing and how many products they have in their inventory. These are all really important numbers to make sure your students keep an eye on their margins and keep their costs low. The decisions your students make in these tasks help to generate reports, which you can find here. The financial reports give them all the information they need on the numbers generated by their business. Reading these financial reports can be a great way for students to get to grips with the financials of the business. They can look for deviations and maybe where they are spending a little bit too much cash. They also have sales reports where they can see how much and how well they are selling. Remember, the reports will change every quarter, so they must keep an eye on the financial, sales, and market reports to really make sure they are making the right decisions. So, that covers your instructor interface and the student interface. Hopefully you've gotten a better understanding of how the simulation works and how your students can really benefit from them. If you have any questions about what I've covered in this demo, please don't hesitate to contact your Hubro representative or get in touch via our website. Thank you so much for watching this demonstration.